Hey guys, and welcome back to another fantasy preview. This time we are doing the team preview of the Brisbane Lions in what is a pretty interesting side. For them to be the premiers, yet they have, I think, two or three guys that, at least two guys that I am almost locking into my side, even with the early bye, let alone another one of the brothers. And there are some more other guys that I'm like, I really want to get to after. It just shows how stacked they are. It is unbelievable. They've lost Danaher to retirement, and they still are the heavy premiership favourites, like they should be. Like, they just keep on adding, and it's just like, it is honestly unfair with how good they are. But anyway, let's jump into this video and go through their side, I guess. So, as you can see up on screen, I have it for the Keidean Coleman on DFS. And you'll see here, as I have, this is just following on from the recording of, how do they do it? Is it just BL? Yeah, it's just BL. Brisbane Lions. I've just come off recording the Adelaide one that you saw yesterday. So yeah, this is just following on from this as I'm pre-recording them all. But anyway, so first guy up is Keidean Coleman, and he actually is in the document. You'll see the Google Doc. He's the second guy up. 110.3 regular season average, prices him at 1.13 million, give or take a little bit, and I just think this is the peak for him. I don't think there's much to gain from him, as I actually just, I can show you the stats here, but the stats are pretty conclusive here. Went from a midfielder averaging 110 to half forward, to then being a half forward again that played a little bit midfield time, to then half back because of the Keidean Coleman injury, and he just went off as they played a very controlled brand of footy, and it just worked, simply put. In round 0, he, I think, got shifted back relatively late onto the game, and he just dominated. You can see 19 touches, 7 marks, 6 tackles. But yeah, he just dominated. From the time he got the kick-ins to the end of the season, I think you would see him probably be averaging near enough about the... what did he average in the end for the year? He averaged 110.4 in the end for the year, but he averaged a 110.3 in the regular season. But if we include by the time that he started to get kick-ins, you'll see that average is a 111.1. So if he didn't have the early bye, he'd probably be just a lock for a guy that's just going to hold value, like what we're going to talk about with Sheasel in a couple of weeks' time for you guys. But yeah, I think he's a guy that probably is a guy that we stay clear of because of the early bye, and we just are losing points there. So, and with Coleman coming back, I sort of expect him to lose some value, if you get what I mean. So I think Keidean Coleman is a miss. Keidean Coleman, I think, will be the next. Oh, sorry, Keidean Coleman won't be the next guy up. But we'll just go through this order so that you see how I'm sort of looking at this, especially. And also, I forgot to put this in the Adelaide one, but point out the guys that I've sort of missed, and how, especially guys, fans from these clubs, especially because you guys know your team most likely better than me. I hope you know your team better than me. And there's only so much I can do. There's only so many hours in a day that I can split to AFL, and then also split between the AFL clubs itself. So, Darcy Wilmot, it's the second guy on the list here for Brisbane. 75.1. I just don't see there being value. I did put him down in here, just because with it all, he is a rebounding defender at 75.1 regular season average, 73.5 the whole season. He could gain value, but I just don't see it, to be honest with you. I think he might even lose value. I think he might go back, maybe even shift up to the wing. He's a damn good player, but at 770k for an early buy, I just don't see there being value, and I think he's a guy that could actually decrease. But maybe next year, but then he'll have the early buy again because opening round, etc., etc. So kind of puts these guys out of arm's reach, these northern clubs, when they've sort of played their rookie campaign, or when they get into premier status range, because they become annoying to own because of the early buy. Skipping over all these, Leicester no. We are going to click into some of these guys that have a BL name, just because this is the way I do it, and the way it does it, and there's no other way to sort of streamline it. Harris Andrews, no. Conor McKenna, no. Jack Payne, no. Noah Ainsworth, no. Darren Joyce, no. Starcevic, no. You can just see the list here. Keep on going on. Shannon Braun, no. Don't think he gets games. Keidean Coleman, here we go. Here we go. This is the guy that we were all hot on. Had pretty much done our analysis of Keidean Coleman in April last year. Simply put, April last year, we'd done our analysis on Keidean Coleman. That's how long we have been waiting for this sort of moment to be able to go, Keidean Coleman, backline, done, status, etc. One game in 2024, 44% time on ground for a 34. He got a 34 and then was done. And then did his ACL. And season was over. If we regulate that for a 74% time on ground, 34 divided by 44 times by a 74, he averages a 57.1 from that little game that he had. And he's priced at 50.8. So that doesn't give you much, does it? But if you actually look at it, his points per minute were down, etc., etc. His tog might even be a little bit more extended than it would have been if he might have gone down at 42% tog, etc., etc. But yeah, I think he's a guy that will take up more of the load in 2025 than he did in 2024. You see 41 kick-ins in 2023, 25 in 2022. You can see the numbers, right? Sorry, that should be a 35 in 2022. This is why we have the numbers up, because I do make mistakes. 35, 63, that's right. That's all right. Outside of that, so it's just that number that I stuffed it. I carked it with that number. Okay. So yeah, you have that. And ACL in first game, 20% discount. 20-point discount on what we saw in his last full season. He also had Daniel Ritz down there last year. That was potentially blocking him, but then again, he'll have Zorko or potentially Darcy Wilmot there, so I don't know if that will really be the way. But actually doing some background research on this, you look at the game styles change from Brisbane in 2023 to 2024. One of the more fancy relevant game style switches, up there with North Melbourne. And you'll see that they added 10 kicks, 10 handballs, 12 marks per game. Surely, by just looking at the breakdown of where the marks were taken and the kicks were taken and who they sort of split to, you would hazard a guess that a defender is probably going to average, maybe hazard a guess, another 5 to 10% on what they did in their last full year. And if that is the case, he goes up to an 80. An 80 from a 50 with an early buy. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's something. And it's some value there, which we kind of need in that back line. So yeah, that is pretty much all the take. 521k, basically the Zach Williams of last year. If he would have been priced within about 4 or 5k of Zach Williams if we were going off the same magic number. That's how tight they were in value. So whatever happened with Zach Williams, expect slightly better, but with Keidean Coleman, effectively is what we're saying. Yes, he does have the really extremely early buy, and the really annoying buy with Sydney, which may mean that you might not be able to go Mills, but I expect Mills to still be one of the early upgrade targets that we can grab, etc. But that is what it is there. Moving on. And let's go back to our trusty dusty screen here. Dodie, Beacon, and also Zakowski. Do I have Beacon or Beacon? Whatever. However you say it, I don't know exactly. But he is a defender at 230k. A basement price player. 22.1 is the projected, I believe, or is that not updated 100%? Might not be updated 100% as, yep, it's 22.4, sorry guys, 22.4, not 22.1. I can even I'll just get rid of that because it's basement price, average or whatever. But yeah, break even 24, whatever. Samful in 21, 22, 23, and then VFL in 2024. In the Samful, he averaged 64, 56, 81.7. So I'm going to focus more on this 2023 form as that lines up with his VFL form in 2024. If we actually look at it, play summary, sample stats, let's actually look at it. I can look at this. So I can look at this in 2023 and you'll see how I did do some of my searching for my stats here. And this could be wrong because this was before I think they came up with this. 14.4, 6.1, 3.8, 3.5. That is all good. There we go. That is exactly what we're looking at. So we can look at this and go game log and see, look at this, he did this, etc. Really good performances. Then we head just quickly over here. I will search this up. I should have done this earlier, but State League VFL, because Brisbane play in the VFL. So they're going to have players with VFL form here as well. And we go to Beacon or Beacon or, whatever. 81.4 in 13 games, not 27. So I must have not done that some of my research well. 13.4, yeah, 13.4, 5.1, 6.2, and then 2.9 or 3 tackles per game. Let me just update this quickly. 3, as you see, would have changed it a little bit, changing from doing it off of the state sites to doing it off of DFS. DFS has congregated all their sources really well, and it's a really good website to do it off of. But yeah, job security of Luke. I'm just going to say Luke until someone can correct me. Job security, especially with the return of Coleman, it's just not there, simply put. But could be a decent, mature-aged rookie, as I believe he is. If I look at this and I go here to Luke, yeah, you can see how I was sort of doing my research a little bit. Pretty sure he is, yes, what's that? Going to be 24 this year. So yeah, mature ager. Could he just jump into similar to like Riley Bice, could he just jump straight in and do the job? We'll see. It has shown multiple times at Reserve League that he can do it. If we look at his game log here, you can see a max of 125. Max of 125, another 100, couple of 90s in there, 3 90s, couple of 80s, etc. No, sorry, 4 90s? Yeah, 4 90s. It looks like 4 90s, and 80 there, etc. So he's done it before. And yeah, it would be interesting if he does get a run, but I don't think he will. Then we get on to the midfielder, most likely, as Zach Oskelski is still developing as a more key position player. Blake, no. Blake Leidler, no. Then we get to the midfielders. And you'll see with my research, especially when I just do the early buy teams, I will almost exclusively look over and just straight pass on the primo players from those teams, as it pretty much is a no-go, given that they just drop points easily too much to the non-early buy primo players. So guys like Josh Dunkley, you'll see on the screen 107.4. Guy that I'm targeting later on in the year, but not now. Lockie Neal, nope. And also one thing I should actually probably do is just, and I should have probably done this for the likes of the Adelaide Crows, but we will just check the Brisbane fixture. So they have the buy-in round 3 and the buy-in round 16. Okay. You actually probably want to jump on these guys right after their bye. So these guys are massive actually early upgrade targets. So I could have actually included them in because they are probably one of the better teams to have for players. Once you get through if you can get to an early upgrade into a round 4 of one of these guys, because they have Richmond, could be huge. But then again, we'll see who Richmond have in round 5 when we get to them and see who they are. I'm just doing this backtracking, just a fraction bit. Who do Adelaide? Adelaide, you're going to start anyway. But when do Adelaide have their bye? Round 15. So they're not a bad bye team either. And straight off their bye, they're a good team either as well. So trade out of them, trade straight back into them. They're a good team. They'll probably almost hold their players through the bye because they have a really good run post bye. But yeah, that was my slight little get back on track here with the Brisbane. There we go. So we got Brisbane back here. There we go. But yeah, that was my slight little backtracking on the Adelaide Crows review from yesterday, or preview, and touching on something that I missed. But now back to the Brisbane Lions, and yeah, so that means that Dunkley, Neal, McCluggage pretty much all go in the out the window because they're early buy players, primos, etc. Ashcroft priced at probably 82.1, 842k. This is tough. This is tough. And I'm going to say it like this. I don't think I'll start with Ashcroft. But I think, like I said just then, we look at their fixtures. Once again, we scroll down here. We go, Ashcroft, 900k, give or take. He'll have, 1, 2, 3 games. Can he gain 90 or 80k in the first 3 games? And show us that he's a 100 average guy, and then in round 4 suddenly we go, oh, we need him because he is playing Geelong, tough team, Sydney, tough team, and then Eagles, rough, but sorry, Eagles should be a good game for them, so he might score well there. If he can show that he's averaging 100, do you just go in round 4 and say, yeah, I like it, and go from there? That's sort of what I'm looking at. And yeah, like I said in the notes, problem with 2 buys, etc. But he averaged a 98 in the finals, I believe, which is a plus 16. I think he's a guy. He's a guy that everyone's saying the metrics are saying he's going to take that jump. So I think the third round bye might actually help him because we get a slight little look at him. But no one's going to be wanting him, I don't think, in that first 3 games. But round 4, suddenly Ashcroft appears, opening upgrade target, priced at effectively about 90 at that point. You can just upgrade straight from a midfielder or something or whatever. So yeah, I'm looking at him going, he's a guy that I might look at. But yeah, if we just look at Ashcroft at stats here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. I don't want to go on too long about him because we do have his brother still to cover. Which, his brother is an absolute phenom as well. But you can see here in the finals here, if we just look at this quickly, there you go. Did they play Carlton in the finals? I think they did. Oh, was the finals? 1 second. Finals 98. That doesn't add up. They played Carlton. Did they play Carlton in the finals? 1 second. I'm forgetting if they did. 2024. Finals week 1, they did play Carlton. Okay, let's go back to 2025. Let's go back to player summary. Get rid of that. They did play Carlton. So 91 in the finals actually isn't as good as what I thought. When did he go 91? Maybe if we take him returning or something. Nope, that's not right. So let's find where I was doing my research from. Will Ashcroft here. Let's just take everything here. What did he do from his return? 86.6 in 13 games. Price at 82, so we'll see if there is a jump. But yeah, if we actually look at him when he starts to really kick into gear, we look at his time when he got 40% or more CBAs, he averages 96 in the 5 games. If we add that to his games last year when he did such, let's just look at this. And you'll start to see, I think, a pattern emerge here. Pattern emerges that he averages 90 or 90.7 in 16 games with 40% CBAs. If you raise that to 50, I believe this goes up. I believe it goes up, but it could go down. It could go down. Just saying it could go down. Let's see. In 5 games with 50% CBA is actually down at 80, so that's not the greatest look. But yeah, it's 5 games, so there are a couple of low games in there, but there's a couple of big games in there. So I'm not too worried about him. I probably won't spend too much more time researching him at all because we get that look in, I think, the first couple rounds. Then on to his brother, Levi. Let's just go here. So simply put, Levi is what he is. He's an absolute gun. This is the VFL. Yep, he did this in the VFL, everyone. He did that in the VFL. Let's look at the coats because that's what we want here because you'll see his stats, but I can just read them off when I'm quickly for you. So 2023 coats, he averaged 95.2, 11 kicks, 16 handballs. 2024, he averaged 108 in 9 games. Where is he? I think... 107.8, not 108.8, as you see there. So slightly off, sorry guys. Slightly off with that. There you go. That is fixed. 15.8 kicks, 15 handballs, 5.4 marks and 1.7 tackles. He is an absolute gun. Averaged 88 in the carnival as well from 4 games. And if he wasn't attached to the Brisbane Lions through the father-son, then he would be a number 1 draft pick. Simply put, number 1 draft pick. But went 5. And we get a rough, what is that now? A 12% discount on that now. And he's priced at $328, which is roughly about, I think, a 31. 328 divided by 10.25 is a 32 flat. So we get him at 32. Break even at 32, he's going to beat that. Probably won't be a full-time midfielder, so don't expect these big numbers. Expect, like I said with Sid Draper, 75 to 80, I think. And he will still rack it up on half forward because Brisbane are just that good. And one of the best draftees for fantasy relevance, even though Brisbane have the early bye, simply put. And yeah, so that's Levi Ashcroft. I did talk about him for less time, but enough needed to be said. He's an absolute gun. He'll do his job, especially if he should be one of those round 1 debutantes. And yeah, he should be fixed in the side. Probably one of the most owned players, I would say, in the top 2 or 3 owned players on the game once we hit round 1. Then we get to the other draftee from Brisbane, realistically. And I know I've already gone off track with this slightly, but you'll just see Jasper Fletcher doesn't matter. Revel doesn't matter. Torrent, no. Levi Ashcroft, there we go. And then we caught up to Sam Marshall. In 2023, Brisbane Lions Academy he played for, and he had 5 games, 67.7, or 67.6, sorry. Then for the Colts in 2024, he averaged in 8 games, 89 with 11 touches of the ball, 11 kicks, I should say, and 12.3 handballs, 6 marks, 2.6 tackles. And then in the under 18s, 4 games, 99 average. You can look that up through the, here we go, and I'll just show you his 2024 numbers there. There you go. Says actually 8 games, 86.6, not 89. Let me just quickly adjust that slightly, and I might be wrong with my numbers, but it doesn't look like I'm wrong with them. As you can see, so these were done off of like rookie me, etc. numbers before I sort of migrated all of them to DFS, so you can see some wrong stats, but most of them are correct. But anyway, you can see Sam Marshall. You can look up more for yourself if you want to in given time. But I think, guys, if we actually look at rookie me and their Marshall, if we look at them, Liam, Todd, Jared, I should have just done Sam Marshall. There we go. Got him. Sam Marshall analysis, and I think this might show where I went wrong. Does it? Does it show where I went wrong? Allies 2024, 27 touches. That looks right. Does it tell us where I went wrong? Probably not. But anyway, it is what it is. But you can see here that his best attributes are his consistency kicking and his running capability and his work rate. Those are really good. Dylan Alexander did a video on this talking about the best skills that translate early into games and to really good scoring, I guess, or all right scoring from rookies. And it is that dash and that outside game. And I think that's what he has. Problem is, he's coming into the best side, who have a stacked midfield where they just put midfielders on ballers on the wing. And they've got Will Ashcroft, Levi Ashcroft, Jared Berry, Cam Rayner, Zach Bailey, you name it, they've got it, etc. Archie as well at half forward. Where's he going to fit? Don't know, simply put. So I don't think he gets a game, but he's got all the attributes to get a game. He just can't get in. That's how good they are. But we'll see what they do with Sam Marshall. Maybe it needs an injury. Maybe it doesn't, etc. to get him in, but we'll see. But yeah, he could play wing or half forward, I think, early, which it'll still be value. Probably not as good as value as some other guys that get into the team a lot easier, or their teams a lot easier from the 2024 class, but we'll see. But yeah, that's Sam Marshall for you. If we go to player, here we go. Oscar McInerney, don't need to talk about him. Darcy Fort, no. Even though Darcy Fort had a really good grand final. Zach Skelski, no. Bailey, no. Cam Rayner, no. And the last guy, actually, we have one more guy to talk about, I think. Yeah, one more guy from Brisbane. Sendai, no. Lincoln McCarthy, no. Eric Wood, no. Kai Loman, no. Archie, no. Cameron, no. Morris, no. Gardner, no. Henry Smith, no. Devon Robinson is the last guy I want to talk about, mainly just due to him being here and just being a sort of mid-forward classification. I know Tunstall's here, but same. Devon Robinson sort of more so the case, I think. Priced at 29.3, yes, you're looking at this and going, he averaged 27 last year. Nope, it goes off his 2023 numbers of 38.6 from 16 games. So he gets a 24% discount on that, which gets him down to, I think, 29.3. Let me just double check with that. 38.6 times the 8 game discount, which is a 24% discount, so 76, gets him to 29.336. Times that by the magic number, and you get him at 301k, actually. So not the perfect 300k, but 301k. I just don't see him getting in the team, simply put. Even though if we look at VFL Fantasy and you look at the top scorers and you go, I want Robertson, you'll see 98.1. I have him at 97.8. Another slightly wrong statistic that you will find with a couple of these guys. 12.5, 13.4, 3.1, 6.6. There you go. There's the stats there. And I'll get rid of that as well. But yeah, I just find it hard that he will break it into the Brisbane midfield, sorry. He probably should have gone to West Coast, to be honest. He'd be in a much better position and much more fantasy relevant position. But if he does play, he probably won't be value, even though he will be playing, just because he probably gets just chucked at half forward. And this will be another one that we're waiting another year for him to actually play well. But in 2021, he did put up decent numbers. If we just quickly look at him here. 2021, he did put up decent numbers. 62.3 he did end up playing. 61.9, and then 7 games in 2022 for a 57.7 in the regular season, 62.3 in the actual whole season. So yeah, you can see he does really, really well when he gets a decent enough role, but the CBA is just dropped out of the sky, basically, simply put. And that's where he's at. So that pretty much is the Brisbane Lions. Another 25-minute video, which is something that I want to keep these down to like 20 minutes, but I just want to talk fantasy at the end of the day. So if you did enjoy that, remember to like and subscribe to the notification bell on YouTube so that you know when I upload. And for those on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating so that you know when I upload. And I'll see you guys in the review tomorrow of the likes of the Carlton Blues. The first, another non-buy, early buy team? So they are probably more fantasy relevant. And I did look at their fixtures, and they're a little bit more fantasy relevant than other teams, given that they have some a little bit easier fixtures to start the year. But anyway, I'll see you guys in that video tomorrow. Bye, guys.